We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Channing Tindall, Miami Dolphins linebacker, number 41 right here. And I think he probably had his best game in a Miami Dolphins uniform versus the Buccaneers in preseason week 3, which was nice to see. I think he definitely needed it. It was nice to see the development for him to make plays out there. He's very productive, and I think with this film, he gave himself the best chance to make the roster. But I will say, I do feel like Curtis Bowen still outperformed him in this game. Like, it was nice to see him making plays. I just think the problem with Tindall's game is he's kind of a one-dimensional player with how he makes plays, like compared to Bolton. I feel like Tindall kind of lacks the ideal like player traits for an off-ball linebacker with the instincts, and he's more of a linear athlete where he gets downhill, as you'll see throughout this video, and kind of how he makes plays, like kind of what I'm talking about with the feel of things. But overall, I do feel like he's improved. He's shown some development. Just not quite sure I would feel comfortable with him playing in like off-ball linebacker situations. So I do think like a potential position change might be the best move for Tindall as like an edge defender where he has to like think less, just get downhill, because he's more of just like that downhill, use your athleticism type player, and maybe more as like just a pass rusher. Like obviously we'll break down this film. He deserves some props definitely for some of these plays. I think this one's not too bad. On the backside of outside zone, playing as the weak side linebacker. Here we get to see him, actually shuffle, kind of stay patient, read through this. I think he over pursues a little bit. Like, you want to kind of stay in phase with this running back. I mean, once you're right here, like, he doesn't over pursue it too much, but change direction, get back, use your hands to kind of clean yourself up. Like, I think that one's not too bad, but I feel like it's more of an eyes thing with him. Like, he has to see it to actually make the play. So, like an anticipation sort of instincts type thing is just not going to be in Tindall's play, book, and that's kind of where like linebackers are really able to stand out and be good players, and you just don't really need that as much as a player gets downhill. And you'll see when he was playing, he played some edge in this game, or when he's just like blitzing, is just stand up, blitzing as a linebacker, or through A gap, B gap. He also looks very comfortable there. He's had multiple sacks in the preseason. That's kind of where he's just looked really, really good, and I wouldn't mind taking the flyer to develop that. But if we're going based off pure off-ball linebackers, I'm not sure I would, take him over Tindall. And I'm not sure the Dolphins are going to take Riley over him or not. I think, that one's really up in the air. We'll see what happens. It could happen today or tomorrow with the waiver coming down. But, on to the next play. This one's a good one. Like, but these are the types of plays he can definitely make. Like, they motion across. He becomes responsible for this player. So he's just eyes on him the whole time. He doesn't have to read offensive linemen and like the flow of the play, if there's pulling and not, read misdirection. Like, he's just responsible for this guy. So he just gets to come downhill, make an open field tackle out in space. Really, really good job. This was a drive where he made like all 3 plays back to back. And this is like the second down play. So really impressive to go out there, get involved. Like seeing this stuff from Tindall out in space, making open field tackles. He definitely has really good athleticism. It's just I don't think that the instincts will ever be quite up to par with what you want, just like my honest opinion. But then this is the third down play. This is the kind of stuff that I love to see. Like, he has multiple sacks in the preseason. We just see him blitzing here, get a one-on-one with the guard. He's done this from multiple different alignments, whether he's lined up strictly off the edge or he's blitzing then coming off the edge. We actually get to see him blitz here, get a one-on-one with the guard, and look at the explosiveness. Stab to the outside, then work across his face. Dip underneath. He just looks way more comfortable in these situations. Dip and rip, get to the quarterback, go past him, just win strictly with athleticism. Kind of like how I've talked about like how the Dolphins are going to use Chop Robinson. I mean, he'll be more like standing up like at the line of scrimmage. Like, I think Tindall can do some of that type of stuff, like blitz from the interior and pass rush situations and make an impact. And I feel that might be the best move for Tindall's career. Whether it's with the Dolphins or not, I think that is kind of inevitable going to happen at this point. But really, really like that type of play. This one looks like he's, kind of feels this one decently well. It's looks like, Buccaneers are running duo. Yeah, it's definitely duo. So, like, Seven's actually kind of reading the linebackers here. Tindall kind of feels the flow of this play, but actually stays patient in the middle. He starts to actually anticipate that he's going to go through this gap, which I like to see. I feel like he could still, play it a little bit faster, but overall, good advancement there. Takes on the offensive lineman 79, uses his hands, separate, get out, go make a play. Like, he still picks up, I think, more yards than you want, in the linebacker position, but it was still nice to see him be productive and kind of feel out this play a little bit better from that off-ball position. Here again, just downhill play. This one kind of looks like he's sifting through the trash, but I think it's just he was shooting downhill. This is like really the ideal way for Tindall to make plays is get downhill instantly, but I don't think he like anticipates this cutback. He's just seeing him like because the linemen are on the ground, so it kind of looks like he's able to scrape over the top of that and make it. It's a nice play, but I don't think this is like it's a very good play, but I don't think it's the type of play where like you see the process of the play and think like, oh, this is like what consistent linebacker play is going to look like. Like more of like he would come downhill, be a little more patient, be a little more square, and he would start shuffling to the side over the top here, anticipating the cutback and fitting into the run. But it is nice to see him make these adjustments on the fly. Like he definitely can play in that type of scenario, and I like seeing him be productive. But I just still have question marks overall when it comes to him playing that like specific off-ball linebacker position and just how he makes plays. I don't think will be as successful, especially against higher end talent players, and that's kind of why he's never really seen the field. Plus the coverage stuff I feel like hasn't improved a ton. But this is where I love seeing him. I like seeing him off the edge. I think he's able to just play a little more downhill, even when they're running, zone read here. He's reading the quarterback. Once he sees he hands it off, he gets downhill, constrict the run lane, help make the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Things are just kept a little more simple, a little more basic. You have one key, one read at off-ball linebacker. You typically have 3 keys to actually read. Here, you're just reading the point, the mesh point right here. Let's see it hand it off, get down laterally, make a play. Love that. Love this work from Tindall. Love how he looks in these scenarios, and I think he is at his best still pass rushing, whether it's off the edge, where like I don't think he's ever going to be like a real like edge guy where you have to set the edge. You pass rushing versus the offensive tackle all the time. I think it's just like a pseudo type of role where he can play off ball and off the edge, but align him, and you mainly use him as a guy who gets after the quarterback. Like here's another example of him off the edge, recognize the play, running play duo. He's able to get downhill, takes a great angle to the point of attack. Him and I think Jordan Colbert kind of meet the running back in the backfield for a tackle for loss. So all of his best plays where he either had like tackles at the line of scrimmage or tackles for loss, or when he was lined up like as an edge, maybe playing like as a Sam type back or two, those types of things I feel like are just going to fit Tindall better at this point in his career. So I hope that's kind of the direction they go with what he's doing. Here's a play where he does actually do a pretty good job versus the run, like at an off-ball position. It's just he's actually starting to anticipate. I think he just like takes himself out of position here. Like he feels the flow of this play. Like definitely, outside zone, everyone's working to the left here. He feels the flow. He just almost over pursues, but he makes a nice adjustment. Like he should be shuffling here, stay in phase with the running back. When you're staying in phase, you want to be like exactly where he is right now, like a yard behind him, so you're ready for a cutback. Kind of gets even with him. Once he does that, he realizes he should probably hit the cutback lane. He's able to feel it now and make a play, which is nice. Gets a few yards down the field only for like a few yard gain. So overall, pretty solid work there. I feel like he's feeling it a little bit better, and maybe he will improve. But it's just very hard to teach. Like you can't really teach instincts. It's something you can improve upon by just playing. But I just don't know if it's ever going to get like to the ideal position where you want it. That's why I'm kind of like feeling him more as an edge defender. Here you can see him in coverage. 1-on-1 versus a receiver. Like he gives up the catch. This was actually the first play on that drive that I showed where I'm like, oh, he on the second play he made against the jet sweep, third with the blitz. This was the first play where he gave it the catch in the tackle, but then responded. This isn't that bad coverage. Like he's 1-on-1. They're empty. He's on this 2 receiver side, which is this is usually like exactly where you attack because sometimes your weak side linebacker gets isolated 1-on-1 versus a receiver or a tight end. And they attack here, and there's like all this space to work with because you have to get really wide to both sides. And they attack him, and like this should be completed, but I actually think, he doesn't do too bad of a job playing basically match coverage here, matching it, getting downhill. Keep responsibility simple for him because he's really just reading the receivers 1-on-1, and he has the athleticism to make a tackle. Not too bad, didn't really give up a ton of separation, like not really asking for too much more, I think, when it comes to off-ball linebacker playing coverage versus receiver. Here we just see him on the backside of outside zone. I feel like this is just a scenario where he doesn't see it too well and doesn't have the instincts. Like it's not like he's in a bad spot. Like he's side shuffling, but like usually with linebacker side shuffling, they already like see the play. I don't think he's seen it yet. Like his eyes are just like stuck in the backfield. Now he starts to see it right here. but the running back's already hitting up through the hole, and then like he makes the tackle, 5-6 yards down the field. It's not like ideally what you want out of him. I still feel like the best decision is for him to switch to edge, because I do think there is some potential there. I think he has that skill set for it, and like when it comes to like him versus Bolton, like Bolton has a good feel for the game. He gets lateral. He plays like your ideal off-ball linebacker way. Well, Tindall is, not going to be necessarily making all of those types of plays that you want out of that position. Just realistically, when it comes to scraping over the top, avoiding linebacker or avoiding, offensive linemen with instincts, getting laterally, change direction. I even like how his lower body like moves. I feel like it's just more of like how a blitzer or edge type player works. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of where the direction they take Channing Tindall. I do think he still had a productive game. Credit for that. I just don't think it's a way where you can consistently play the position and have like productive games like this all the time. But the edge stuff really flashed to me all throughout preseason, whether he was blitzing or actually just playing as an edge defender. I think giving him that type of specific role would be interesting. And we'll see. He might not even end up making the team. I think that's a very real possibility. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace.